They said she was too old, too soft-spoken, too different to raise those kids. But we all knew better. We knew because 30 years ago, when nobody else wanted us, when we were just 3 scared white kids in a broken foster system, Miss Bernice took us in. No questions, no conditions. Just open arms and warm cornbread on the stove. But I never thought I'd have to fight to save her life. The day they sentenced her to death, the courtroom felt like it froze over. Death by lethal injection, the judge said, like he was reading a grocery list. Miss Bernice didn't cry, didn't scream. Her hands just gripped the table knuckles white like she was holding on to something invisible. I stood up so fast my chair tipped. "That's our mother," I shouted. "And we have proof she's innocent. Let me take you back. Back before law degrees, medical boards, non-profit grants. Back to the day a widow walked into a soup kitchen and saw 3 kids who'd given up hope. Her name was Bernice Morrow. She'd just buried her husband of 23 years, Luther, sweetest mailman you'd ever meet. They never had kids, though they tried. 3 miscarriages, 3 heartbreaks, and still, she painted the nursery yellow, just in case. After the funeral, that house on Olive Street got so quiet, she said it felt like God himself had stopped speaking to her. But Bernice, she didn't sit still in grief. She went back to serving lunch at the community center. Something about feeding others helped her breathe again. That's where she met us. I was 12, Lucas, and angry at everything. My sister Maddie was 10, already the peacemaker. And little Chloe, just 8 years old with hair like sunshine and eyes always searching for home. We'd lost our parents to a drunk driver 6 weeks earlier. Our aunt said she couldn't take us all. The state split families like decks of cards. But we were holding on tight. That day we walked into the church basement with Mrs. Patterson, our social worker. Bernice was ladling soup. When Chloe started choking on a piece of cornbread, everything went slow motion. Screaming, chairs, scraping chaos. Bernice dropped the ladle, pushed through the crowd, and pulled Chloe into her arms. 1, 2, 3 thrusts, and the cornbread flew out like a bullet. Afterward, Chloe buried her face in Bernice's chest and whispered, "You smell like cinnamon and soap." And Bernice, she didn't let go. 2 weeks later, we moved into that little house on Olive Street. It was awkward at first. We called her ma'am like she was a school teacher. She made fried chicken that tasted like love, but we still ate in silence. Lucas kept his guard up. Maddie didn't want to mess anything up, and Chloe, she cried in her sleep. But Bernice, she waited. No pressure, no expectations. Just gentle hands folding laundry and soft lullabies drifting through cracked bedroom doors. One morning, Chloe spilled juice and burst into tears. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Please don't send me back." And Bernice, steady as ever, knelt beside her and said, "Baby, this is your house now. Juice spills here and Mama's clean it up." That was the first time Chloe called her Mama B. We had our ups and downs. Racism didn't sleep, and it sure didn't skip our neighborhood. Folks stared at the grocery store. Some whispered behind their hands, "Why's that black lady got white kids?" Even church folks, people we trusted, said she was making a mistake. They need their own kind, they'd tell her. Bernice just smiled and said, "They have their kind. They have love." She fought for us every day, for schools that didn't want to enroll us, for neighbors who accidentally lost our mail, for the right to be called family when the world saw strangers. And we grew. I became a prosecutor. Maddie went into pediatric medicine. Chloe, she works with kids in the system now, trying to keep siblings together. But none of that mattered the day Bernice got arrested. She'd catered a fancy charity dinner, silver trays, name tags, all that. One of the guests dropped dead that night. Jerome Wexler, prominent businessman. They said it was cyanide. Said the cleaning supplies in her catering van matched the chemical. Said she had motive. He was blackmailing her, threatening to dig up our adoption records, claim it was illegal. Said he had connections in state government that could tear our family apart. They never looked at anyone else. Didn't question the daughter who stood to inherit $50 million. Didn't investigate the guest list. Didn't care that Bernice had an alibi. She never called us. Said she didn't want to risk our careers. Said she'd rather die than drag us down. When I found out, I drove through the night. We had 34 days till her execution. Maddie, Chloe, and I tore through every file, every transcript. Her court-appointed attorney had done nothing, 3 witnesses, no experts, no defense. I got special clearance to practice law in Tennessee. Chloe tracked down hotel security footage. Maddie worked with a toxicologist. And what we found? The daughter, Jasmine Wexler, was in her dad's office that night, had access to his drink, had chemical training, had debts and no way out. She even posted on Facebook that night, "Finally free to live my own life." Before his death was reported, we brought it all to court. The judge gave us 2 days to make our case. I stood beside Mama B and asked her one question. "Did you kill Jerome Wexler?" She looked at me, tears in her eyes, and said no. But I did tell him I wouldn't be bullied. I told him our family was built on love, not fear. Then I called Jasmine to the stand, laid out the receipts, the chemical order, the access, the motive. She cracked, confessed in front of the whole room. And just like that, the gavel came down. Case dismissed. Charges dropped. Mama B walked out free. 6 months later, we celebrated her 83rd birthday in that same backyard on Olive Street. Kids running music, playing table full of food from every culture you could think of. Chloe had a baby boy, named him Luther. Maddie brought her wife and their adopted daughter. I stood there watching generations bloom from a woman they said didn't belong. And I knew. She didn't just save us. She made us. Now here's the part I want to leave with you. What would you have done if you were the judge? Would you have looked past her skin, her age, her so-called motive? Or would you have believed the system? The same system that once tried to split up 3 grieving siblings and almost executed the only mother we ever knew. Comment below. Do you believe love can rewrite destiny? Or are there still places where skin color defines family in the eyes of the law? Let me know. We read every word. They said she was too old, too soft-spoken, too different to raise those kids. But we all knew better. We knew because 30 years ago, when nobody else wanted us, when we were just 3 scared white kids in a broken foster system, Miss Bernice took us in. No questions, no conditions. Just open arms and warm cornbread on the stove. But I never thought I'd have to fight to save her life. The day they sentenced her to death, the courtroom felt like it froze over. "Death by lethal injection," the judge said, like he was reading a grocery list. Miss Bernice didn't cry, didn't scream. Her hands just gripped the table, knuckles white like she was holding on to something invisible. I stood up so fast my chair tipped. "That's our mother," I shouted. "And we have proof she's innocent. Let me take you back. Back before law